Hello guys, it's Hyena Armor here, and today we're going to be talking about the bayonets for the AK rifle. Some of them I do not have, but I do have majority of them here in my little collection. So one of the main bayonets I don't have is the 6H2. There will be a picture of it on the screen. This bayonet was adopted in 1955 and would be the first bayonet for the AK pattern of rifles. It only had about a 5-year service life before it was removed and replaced by the 6H3, which is this guy right here. So this is the most common type of bayonet that you will see in the United States for the AK pattern rifles. It does look like a traditional knife instead of like the traditional bayonets that we would see in the 1960s. There is a cutout in the blade, so you can use it in junction with the scabbard. Sadly, I do not have the scabbard for this one. It does have the saw teeth on the blade. It was produced by almost every single Warsaw Pact country, everything from East Germany to the Soviet Union and everything in between made this pattern of bayonet. The handle is made from a plastic material, most likely going to be Bakelite. There is damage to this particular handle, which is very common with these bayonets. Soldiers would use these for smacking in tent poles or hitting nails. They weren't supposed to be doing that because these plastic handles were very prone to breaking. It does connect to the rifle here at the rear locking lug, and this goes over the muzzle brake, and there is a push button release. You can actually see it pushing in and out. See if we can get it on. Sometimes it doesn't like to focus. Yes, so like I was saying, soldiers were using the handles as a hammer, which was something they weren't supposed to do, and would cause a lot of problems. And as we know, when you're doing things in the Soviet Union that you're not supposed to be doing, the Soviet Union is forced to do one thing.
Shoot her before him, but make sure he sees it. Or in this one, kill him, take him to his church, dump him in the pulpit.
Now, with this having so many problems, the Soviet Union will switch in 1965 to the 6H4, which would be this and this one right here. Now, they switch over to an AG4 material, which we would call Bakelite here in the United States. Even though it's not a Bakelite material, we just call it that because of the color. It looks similar to Bakelite. It is a fiberglass reinforced polymer, plastic, whatever you want to call it. It is extremely light. They did add metal at the base, so soldiers could use this as a hammer. The scabbard is covered in a Bakelite material. This one here is a Bulgarian Circle 10. We do have some proof marks. The SH here. We do have a SH on the scabbard, as well as the letter D in Cyrillic. Blade is almost identical, if not identical, to the 6H3. We do have the teeth, traditional blade, and of course, like we were talking about before, you can attach it to the scabbard and use it as a wire cutter. Now, the reason why we have two on the table is when they were these bayonets were first being made, they were made with this traditional color. Some countries like Bulgaria slowly switched over to black as the years progressed. And some countries like this one here is a Yugoslavian one. They flat out just started making them in black by the time that they got the data packs to make these. Bulgaria was making them in black, so Yugoslavia started making them in black. Of course, it still has the traditional button. And this particular one, even though it's a Yugo, is still identical to this. Now, these bayonets were adopted in the Soviet Union in 1965. Different variations would come into play. Some countries will not adopt the 6H4. Some of them would just adopt the scabbard, and they would use it in junction with the 6H3 bayonet, and vice versa. You would see some countries still using the scabbard of the 6H3 and using the bayonet of the 6H4. Countries like Poland did that. And of course, those will be on screen. Those sometimes are referred to as transitional bayonets. Now, ending out the bayonets for the Soviet Union would be the 6H5. Now, this bayonet is not made in the AG4 material. It is made in the PA6, which is a modern polymer plastic made in the 1970s. This bayonet, it's going to be kind of hard to show on camera, is a plum color. The camera doesn't really pick it up too well, sadly. This bayonet would be adopted in 1986, a year after these bayonets stopped being made in 1985. It does have a different style of hilt, as well as the pommel is the PA6 material. The blade also does have a change. So it is not like your traditional bayonet for the AKM. It is more of a point, unlike the original. It still has the wire cutter function. It still has the saw teeth, which is longer than the original style. The blade is about 1 centimeter longer, roughly. And this one, like I did say, this one is a Russian one. I know I can get that on camera. The arrow in a triangle showing that this is Ishev's. And we do have the letter M in Cyrillic. Now, this style of bayonet would be commonly seen on AK-74s and was designed to be used in junction with the AK-74, but we do see a lot of these 6H4s being used even to this day. There is a 6H9 variant out there. As far as I know, there's not a lot of information about it. There's not a lot of videos on them. But yeah, this is the small little bayonet collection that I have. And just a little bit more info on the 6H5. This bayonet was only produced by 2 countries, which would be Bulgaria and the Soviet Union. And they would only be made in 2 factories. These factories would be Ishev's in the Soviet Union and Bulgaria's Circle 10 factory. All the other bayonets on the table, if they came to the Soviet Union, were made in both Ishev's and Tula. I do not have any of those to show, sadly. I wish I did. But it is nice to have a 6H5 that is made in Russia, especially one of the plum color ones. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will have more videos on the subject of AK stuff. I'm planning on doing a video of the evolution of AK mags. So yeah, stay tuned to see that one. soon. Thank you for watching.